Good morning. Good Monday morning to you. November 7th, almost election day, and people are losing their minds. So, man, I had a nice, refreshing perspective yesterday when we were at church. I had a guest speaker named Tim Barton, and it was really cool. I'm not a big history buff, so I don't study history, don't know it to a great degree. I probably need to know more for sure. But one of the interesting things was he's got a lot of the original documents, like the handwritten letters and correspondence and all the government papers and stuff that was wrote by our early leaders at the very beginning, all the way through, a lot of the leaders throughout our history, presidents, governors, senators, all these other people that were in leadership positions in our country. And one of the things that he was talking about was how much of a godly perspective that they held, and how much they counted on that to deliver great results and create good things in the world, to come. So, but one of the things that he really pointed out that was interesting, that all of these people, all these leaders, none of them were perfect. All of them had led perfect lives. Any of them you could pick apart, could find bad things about any of them. And the point he was making is God will do good work through people who have a godly perspective. Doesn't mean that they have to be perfect, that they have to have done everything right in their life. And I got to thinking about, man, that's a point that really needs to be made in our country right now. It's like nobody can do good unless they've been perfect throughout their life. Well, that discounts everybody. There's nobody perfect in the world we live today. Not even close. Not even myself. I look back and there's so many things that I could have done better and made better decisions. And, anybody's life you could pick apart if you really, really want to. So I think, the big takeaway here for me that I want to share with you guys today is, are we are we looking at things in the wrong way? For somebody to have done good things, did they have to be perfect? If they're not perfect, does that take away the good deeds that God has done through their life because they held a godly perspective? I mean, I really believe that, our two daughters wouldn't be here today if we didn't hold a godly perspective. We didn't believe miracles were possible. I mean, I believe that opened the door for something to happen when we were in a bad position. We had a 2% chance of getting pregnant. And I really believe it's because we believe that miracles can happen, that we held a godly perspective. Not that we were doing everything perfect or we were perfect people, but we were doing our best to hold a godly perspective. And I believe that makes a difference, and it opens the door. And if you go back through history the way he does and look at these documents and how much having a godly perspective played a role in these leaders' lives and how they made decisions. And again, they're not perfect people, but they held this. And I believe it's responsible for, our country becoming, we're not a perfect country by no means, but man, we have more rights and freedoms and stuff that other countries do not have. And I don't think a lot of us realize that because, we're not living in these other countries. So we don't realize how good America really is in terms of quality of life, what we can do, what we can't do, the decisions we can make, the freedom we have to create the life that we want. I don't think a lot of people realize how advanced America is in that right. So just something to think about. Are we holding people to unfair standards? Do we believe that, people who do good things have to be perfect throughout their life, or that discounts, if they haven't been perfect, but that God did do something great through them, that discounts them? I think we've got our perspective out of whack. It needs to be recalibrated. So just something I want to share with you guys this morning. I know election's coming up tomorrow, and people are thinking about a lot of things. And I just thought it was, man, it was a really neat, some of the things that he brought up in the letters and how they looked at things. And this is not this is not his thoughts or opinions. This is the actual original handwritten documents that these people wrote, and what their thoughts were and what they were doing and thinking at the time. It was very, very, very interesting. So, man, I hope you guys have a great start to the week, and I will see you guys back here in the morning.